Hello, Lee Hirschberger again with Stealth Furniture, here to do an assembly video for our Type 2 nightstand. To begin with, I'd like to show you what it comes with. Obviously, each unit will come with 4 legs, a bottom shelf. It comes with the chassis, which includes a drawer that can act as a secret compartment, or you can get it with hardware so that it just acts as a normal drawer. And then it also has a secret compartment in the rear that the top slides out to reveal. Also included will be your bag of goodies here with a screwdriver. I want to emphasize how important it is that you use a hand screwdriver. Avoid using screw guns just simply because you can over torque, you can twist off the head of the screw. I include the screwdriver for you so that you don't have a reason not to use it. These screws go in really easy. It won't be difficult to use. So please use the handheld screw or the manual screwdriver. Also a block of wood, which will just be a scrap block of wood that you'll use for part of the assembly. Can be discarded as soon as you're done assembling the unit. You'll get your magnetic key, which I'm going to set over here. Oh, and I forgot, your assembly instructions will also be in this bag as well, which are over here. And then you'll have 16" wood screws. We'll just dump out, and I'll set those right here. Okay, the first thing that you'll need to do is remove the drawer box, and you do that by pulling it out. Obviously, the unit starts upside down as far as assembly is concerned. You get it out of the packaging, which I want to encourage you right now to be very careful getting it out of the packaging. You can use a knife, but just use it very gently. We don't want to do anything too aggressive to damage the finish. This is a really nice finish, Sherwin-Williams products, and we just don't want you to damage your unit before you even get it out of the box. So just be very careful getting all the wrapping and the foam off. Start with the unit flipped upside down. I usually try to do it on a raised surface. It just makes things so much simpler. And I do it on a corner because eventually, during part of the assembly, this will be flipped up, and it just makes it easier if you start on one side. So kind of do it in a corner like I'm doing here. To remove the drawer, you simply find the tabs. There's a tab on each drawer guide, and on one side you'll push up, on the other side you'll push down on that tab, and simply pull the drawer right out. It should come out pretty easy. And just set that to the side. I push the guides back in so they're not in my way. Now, you'll notice on each corner there is a letter with a number. In this instance it's D2, and then right here it's D1. So I would obviously use D1 and D2 for that particular corner. Right now I'll begin with, let's see, which one is it? I'll begin with C1. So I'm going to grab the leg that has C1 and C2 on it. Very, very common sense. Just align C1 with the C1, the C2 with the C2. The finish will be like this as well, so it's going to be very obvious where it goes. Simply place that right there, and you're going to have 2 holes on the inside of the unit where we just removed the drawer from, and I'll include pictures to show you what that looks like. Since I'm a one-man show, it's too difficult for me to bring the camera over here, especially when I can just take pictures and show you and edit those in later. So anyway, there's going to be 2 screws for each of the front legs. On this side over here, I've got a B1 and a B2. So we'll do the same thing. Put the leg there. I've got 2 screws for the inside where the drawer was. There's a top one and a bottom one. And I'm just starting them with my fingers, and I can go back and just make sure that the leg is good and snug in that corner, because you want to make sure that your holes are aligning right. Now I grab my screwdriver and just tighten down. It really will take no time to put this together if you follow the instructions, and everything is laid out pretty simple. Just make sure you're holding it tight, like I said. Okay, so I've got the 2 inside screws for each of the front legs. Now, right inside of this little pocket here, there's another screw. We use 3 screws per leg, and that goes right here. So I'll show you, again, I'll show another picture of that. one thing I did neglect to mention too is I will include a tube of glue that you can apply glue to the raw parts of the units in the corner and on the leg. You can include that wood glue if you really want to tighten it down. I honestly, I don't think it's necessary, but it will just add that much more strength to your unit. So if you want to do that, that's fine. Some folks believe that it makes quite a bit of difference. So, but I'll leave that to you. Maybe later you think you might want to unassemble your unit. If you use glue, you obviously won't be able to do that. So again, I'm putting in the third screw for each of the two front legs, and that's it. This unit, as far as the front legs are concerned, is done. I just really tighten that up. You'll see it really coming in close. You don't want to tighten it so much that you're snapping the screw head, but you want to give it a good snug. Okay, now we move on to the back legs, and right now this corner, it's an A1 and A2, so I'm going to grab the leg that is an A1 and an A2, and again align the A2 to the A2, just set it in there. Now for this particular unit, I can't get to the screw holes that are inside the unit, but I can still get to the one that's here on the outside in this little cubby area. So I'm going to do that screw. Make sure I'm holding this snug into the corner before I start tightening it down. And again, I'll show a picture of what this screw hole looks like. It's just like the front leg. Tighten it good and snug. Now I'm going to grab the D1 and D2 leg and do the same there. Hold it snug into the corner. And start the screw with your fingers. Get the screwdriver. Let's see, I guess it's easier to do this. Okay, now that that's done, the next thing I need to do is get the other two screw holes into this into the rear legs. And the only way I can get to those screw holes are actually inside the secret compartment itself. So the only way I can do that is, as I said at the beginning of the video, we're going to flip this unit up. Please be very careful. I grab it by the top, and I hold on to one of the legs, and just do it very gently. Grab both legs, make sure you're laying down very gently. Obviously, it's just common sense. Now comes the block of wood, which it looks like I just set the unit on top of. Rookie mistake. Okay. Grab the block of wood and put the block of wood at one end of the unit or the other so it's not in your way. I'll put it at this end, and again I'll snap a picture to show you what that looks like. But that's going to hold your top up so that you have easy access to the inside of the secret compartment where the screw holes are for the back two legs. And again, there's two holes, top and bottom. Make sure that the leg is snug. And again, I'll show some pictures here of what that looks like. Make sure that's good and snug. And now I do the other side as well. Okay. Now I recommend before you close this lid to make sure the magnetic lock, you can disable it. If I close it right now, the lock will be engaged. Just for the sake of not having to mess with it later, I make sure that it's not engaged, and you do that by flipping up, depressing the latch, and then flipping up this little red latch, which I'll have a demonstration video for that as well if you want to look into that, but it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't really matter if you do lock it, it's not the end of the world. But anyway, okay, so I removed my little block. Now that that's done, again, I can discard it. And we're going to flip this thing back up very carefully. Okay, just make sure the legs are good and snug, which they appear to be. And now comes the shelf, or actually I guess we can put the drawer in first. The drawer, to put back in, just make sure the guide is out a little bit, and it's pretty common sense. There's for lack of better vernacular, there's a male and a female, and it just slides right in. Make sure that it's lined up right, push it in. Now it'll go in kind of stiff the first time. So I hold the back and I push it in. And of course you've got the other guides working with you there too. So just be careful when you put it in. Now it's all the way in and it won't come back out unless you depress those tabs like we did at the beginning of the video. Okay, the last part of assembling our nightstand, our Type 2 nightstand, is the bottom shelf. And you'll note that on the bottom shelf it'll have the A1 and the C2. It'll have the legs marked, just like the legs were marked for the bottom part. And on each shelf there's going to be 4 of these pocket bores, which will receive a screw, and it'll go like that's what it's. You get the idea. You'll see that it goes through like that. But before we can put the screws on, we've got to make sure that we've got the right corner in the right corner. And this cleat is actually on the bottom of the shelf. Now obviously since we're installing it upside down, it's at the top right now. But the legs are going to be a little bit tight together, so you might have to kind of force the leg out a little bit to make it fit. But that's just so that we have a really good snug unit when we're all said and done. It's going to be a little bit of work on your part to make sure it goes in right, but that's okay. It's worth it to have a good snug unit. So, okay, now we just keep going down. You'll see the hole. And there's actually a little bit of a line that acts as a marker for where you're going. And don't do all one at one time. You kind of want to do them all equally. Just working them down until you get it to that line that acts as your marker for where you want to be. Make sure the leg is all the way snug in the corner. Before you put your screw in, you can go ahead and set the screw in there and get it ready. And then I make sure I got that leg good and snug in that corner. I actually press the unit up against my body a little bit to make sure it goes in there good. Alright. And of course we'll do the same thing for every corner, all 4 corners. Make sure my height is right on my line, which I was a little bit off on that one, so I'm glad I checked. And this one actually looks like it's already pretty snug, so I don't have to even hold it. Okay, so I'm just finishing up this final screw for the final leg, and you are done assembling your Type 2 Stealth Furniture Secret Compartment Nightstand. Last thing you'll need to do is just grab it by the lip here from the edge and flip it up. And I don't recommend lifting this unit from the top. It's actually pretty heavy. It's a lot of solid wood on here, so what I do is I'll work it to the edge over here, and I just pick it up from underneath the chassis here, okay? And there you go. You're ready to start enjoying your nightstand. Thanks for the assist to my 9-year-old son, Simon. Thanks, bye.